Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope all of you are doing well. So, I'm going to be reviewing the 1999 film Wild Wild West, which stars Kevin Kline, you have Will Smith, you have Selma Hayek. Um, this movie I absolutely love. It had been quite some time since I've seen this movie, so I just got finished watching it and revisiting the film. I was really entertained. There were moments that were making me laugh that I thought was really, really funny. Some of the material in this probably would not be able to be made today. There are certain things that are said and whatnot. You'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. Now, I do believe at the time when this was released in theaters, it did not too well, or it did not do too well. I think there was just a lot of negative reviews, and as a lot of us have gotten older, I still think a lot of people do not like this movie. I love it. I think it's just a fun and entertaining film. It's got a great cast. I actually did while I was watching the film, I did a little bit of research on the film and found out that one of the actresses in this film that plays the villain's like henchwoman, excuse me, she's the same actress who played Sindel in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So I thought that was pretty cool. I saw her face and I recognized her right away, but I couldn't put two and two together until I realized, oh, it's Sindel after doing the research. But Will Smith plays James West and Kevin Kline plays Artemis Gordon. So Artemis Gordon's kind of like the tech whiz during the West. He creates all these really cool gadgets, and Jim is pretty much this great shooter, this great cowboy, and both Jim West and Artemis Gordon have to come together, uh, hired by the president to basically go after Artemis. What is it? Arliss. Confusing myself here. Arliss Loveless. That's a mouthful. Say that 5 times fast. Who is the villain of the film, and the actor that plays that character, you'll recognize him in everything. He's been in some well-known films. His name is Kenneth Branagh. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but he does a fantastic job of just being this character who's just a douche. Just you want to punch in the face. That's the type of character this guy plays. Um, and basically, Arliss Lovelace is a Confederate soldier who basically lost everything below the waist and uses this like robotic wheelchair and has all these technology type inventions and whatnot for that time. Well, it's a kind of in a different period of the West. And he basically wants to turn the United States into something completely different. It's so weird, but he, has his henchwomen and henchmen, and trying to do everything he can to get the president and basically have him sign a document that would allow him to take over the United States. Of course, that's not going to go well because the two agents that the president hired, which is Jim West and I'm forgetting names, Artemis Gordon. They have to do what they can to stop him. And then you got Selma Hayek involved as well. And she's got this little reason for, going with them. It's goofy at times, I will state that, but it's entertaining. Looking back on this film, it's not as bad as I was expecting it to. I, I really don't know what the reason for why this movie got a lot of hate or why it didn't do too well. My guess would be it came out during the same time a really big movie came out, because that tends to happen where a lot of these movies come out the same weekend as something that's a lot bigger. and it's unfortunate. But I thought the chemistry between everybody was fantastic, especially between Will Smith and Kevin Kline. And it's really a shame that these two actors have never done anything after. I think they worked really well together. And this is kind of my introduction into Kevin Kline. I didn't know who he was until this movie came out. When I watched it the first time, I, started liking him in a few things here and there. A very underrated actor. I don't think he gets enough credit. He's not like, I mean, you can say he's an A-list celebrity, but he's not as big as, guys like George Clooney or Brad Pitt, big names like that. And Selma Hayek, I think she was great. She doesn't have a whole lot in this film. She's just more the eye candy, and she hasn't aged a day in her life. Yeah, for what she has, it's not too bad. And then Kenneth Branagh, who plays Dr. Arliss Lovelace, fantastic performance. Just an over-the-top character, but in a really great way, and doesn't overdo it. At least I don't think. But yeah, I wish I could say more. Now, the quality on this Blu-ray, I was not expecting how good this movie looks. Now, with a lot of these catalog titles, they tend to be a hit or a miss when it comes to their transfers. Some films can be really grainy, others not so much. There's films out there that may have scenes that are grainy or too grainy, and then it looks completely fine afterwards. This movie looked really, really good. Now, I have a 4K player that does tend to upscale Blu-rays, and this upscaled, looked really, really good. The amount of detail you were able to see was fantastic. There are some grainy moments, but it blends really well. It doesn't take away from the film. So if you're a fan of this movie, I would say this Blu-ray is highly recommended because it looked really good. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Now, it really depends on what type of TV you have, and surround sound system and things like that. That will give you a better experience than what I have. I'm just going by my opinion on what I was able to experience. So yeah. Now, the Blu-ray itself has special features, which is great because a lot of times these catalog titles can be bare bones, but when you're lucky enough, you do get features. You get a commentary by the director, Barry Sonnenfeld, who actually is the director of Men in Black. And do not quote me on this, but I do believe he's also the director of The Addams Family with Raul Julia and Angelica Houston, or Houston, or whatever how you pronounce her last name. You get 6 featurettes. You get the HBO First Look. You get Wardrobes of the West, Good Guys Gadgets, Loveless Ladies, Evil Devices, and then you get the making of the Wild Wild West music video. And then, of course, you get 2 music videos. You get Will Smith, Drew Hill, Cole Mo D's Wild Wild West, and Enrique. Oh my God, I'm gonna pronounce this. Enrique Iglesias, or whatever. I'm butchering his name. I'm sorry. Enrique Iglesias. I believe that might be how. Balamos. I think I remember that song. I may have to look on that. And then, of course, you get the theatrical trailer. So yeah, not bad. Just a fun action comedy type of film. I mean, it's got a little bit of, different genres added into it, and yeah, I had a good time with it. It was great to revisit this movie. The quality was great. I think it sounded really good, and it had me laughing a few scenes here and there, and yeah, definitely worth adding into my collection. I didn't have this film on DVD. I may have years ago, but there was a time where I had to get rid of my collection. Just, things weren't going too well, and never really was able to add it back into the collection. And then when I saw it was available on Blu-ray for a really good price, Groove Entertainment, I actually picked this up during their March Madness sale, which I think each week or so, give or take, their sales were changing. I was able to get it during when they were doing the 3 for 20, which I believe came to like $6.60 something cents, for the 3 titles. So not bad. Definitely a recommendation if you're looking to add a lot of the catalog titles like this. You can always find a good deal. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in to my review of The Wild Wild West. I do apologize. I can't speak. It's late. I do apologize if I'm a little all over the place with this review. Just, you guys gotta bear with me. If you've seen the movie, I would love to hear your guys' opinion on it. I love hearing everybody's opinion when it comes to movies, because we may agree on certain things and we may agree to disagree on certain things. There's films that I like, people don't like, and there's films people like, I don't like. But you know what? That's how the world goes. But again, thank you guys. Now, I do want to mention something really cool. I found that earlier today. So one of my friends, I think you guys will love this. One of my friends that I haven't seen in a few years, since we stopped working together. We talk, here and there, and text each other back and forth. But I got a text message from him today, and he told me that he loves physical media. I don't know what got him changing his mind, because he's big into the music scene. So he likes to pick up a lot of vinyl and CD and cassette tapes and things like that. And I was telling him, I was like, look, whether it's music, movies, video games, comic books, physical media is important. I even told them about the Matt Damon situation where, Matt Damon had stated that when a lot of films didn't do too well in theaters, they would make up that money from home video releases. And with everything being digital, it can be good and it can be bad. There are a lot of pros and cons to digital. And I was kind of discussing a little bit about the physical media world. There was a couple of years ago, I had gone into, I want to say it was like Office Depot, Office Max, whatever store that's similar to Staples. I had bought replacement cases, and when I was talking to the cashier there, she, we're talking about movies, and I said, she was surprised that they sold DVD cases, replacement cases, and I said, yeah. I said, I try to replace my cases, if I buy movies from the thrift store and things like that. And she goes, yeah, I had gotten rid of a lot of movies. I said, you never want to get rid of your DVDs. I said, a lot of people don't realize that physical media is extremely important. And I was kind of discussing with her, it can be an investment. There are films that go out of print. Not everything's available for, to stream. I said a lot of times it could be due to rights issues. I said a lot of these streaming services are cutting and editing things out, so you're not getting the original full, film that it was intended to be. And then I said, you don't get to learn about films. They don't add special features, and they come and go on these streaming platforms. So if it just so happens there's a movie you want to watch, you can't. Excuse me. I had coffee a while back and it's making me burp, so I apologize. And when I explained this to her, her eyes were like wide open. She was like, wait, really? And I was like, yeah. And God, come on, man. I had some coffee, and it's like every time I do a video I gotta burp. I apologize for that. So yeah, after discussing it, she was like, I didn't realize that. I go, yeah. I said a lot of people don't realize it. I said I don't mind digital because I feel like it's a great way to have it when you're traveling. Like if you're going to visit family, and you can't bring, movies with you or a player, you can do it digitally. It works out. So there are positives to it. But physical media is way more important. So yeah, I had discussed that with the lady, the cashier at that time, and now, after so many years after that, having my friend tell me, yeah, it's important, and I'm definitely down for it. It makes you feel good. It's like, good, convert. And that's kind of what I had to explain with my parents and stuff. Digital is great, but when you buy physical media, you're helping, these big studios, you're helping the actors. Same with video games. I think, a lot of people don't realize it. And I wish there was a video somebody would do to really go in depth on why physical media is important. Not just, like I mentioned, where things are edited or, it's investment. I feel like there's more to it. But that's, another video, another topic for another video. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, share my video, it helps me out. And I'm Film Talk with Mikey. So until next time, guys, we'll talk films. You guys have a good one. Take care, and I will see you guys next time. I'm signing off. Peace.